Now it was the second time I came back from Kalevala with loot, and I felt it's time to bring you guys along for this adventure. First time I brought home about 4 billion in loot, and this time it was a bit less, but a lot more interesting. I recorded stuff that was interesting and I will comment over it all for you guys here. All those who watch this video and want to venture into Kalevala yourself, then you might learn a tip or two. Now this experience that you can get in Kalevala is one of the best things that happened to EVE Echoes. So, second adventure. I brought one of my vindicators and I switched up the fitting a bit. I made sure that I had cap enough, since I knew that the rats there can drain quite a bit, especially in the second spawn. I also brought a yellow hardener for that extra tank on the large waste seeker anomalies, you know, in the second spawn. I learned that from the first time I went there. So there you go, boys, you heard it here. I bought a filament and I jumped into the unknown. I have to say, I love this feature. Not knowing where to end up, not knowing if you get back home, not knowing if you put your pants on this morning. Anyway, I really could not wait any longer to get to Kalevala again. Not to play the game without pants on, even if that's what we have done before. I emerged up north and I moved down to middle of Kalevala before I decided to farm the anomalies. You might wonder why, and so do I. I guess it's because I want to be where most enemies are and not being cornered somewhere on my own. I do get lonely sometimes. So this brings us to the sponsor of this video. If you feel lonely when you're gaming and you feel that no one understands, you got no one to talk to, and your friends or your wife tells you, "Put that phone down for once," then hit that like and consider subscribing to my channel. Achieved YouTube is here and understands you. Here on my channel you can talk about all types of gaming, and I will listen and I will care. So Achieved YouTube, the YouTube gamer you want to sacrifice your time to be a part of. As I was farming the anomalies here in Kalevala, mainly because that's what you do here, there's no real reason that I know of to mine here, I got scanned by an arbitrator. Now he, as well as the rats, disrupted me, and he kited me at about 40k. He threw his drones at me and I had no other choice than to warp somewhere to get a better angle to this fight. I decided to warp to the gate, because gates are a great place to get a few seconds to decide what moves you wanna do. We should actually date girls at gates. At the gate he followed me and landed right after me. As I suspected, he's here to get a kill. Like, of course he is. But he jumped the gate. That was surprising. So here I had a few options. Now I did want to fight this RB. I mean, I can probably get him stuck at the gate or perhaps tackle him close enough. Make this an easy win. But also I did not want to end up so he can kite me again. So my options was either I wait here and I grab him when he comes back, which was my first thought, but I realized that he might think that I hang at the gate and wait for him to jump back, just so I can jump and maybe leave and get away. And I did not want him to think that, cause then he would just wait on the other side to not fall for that one. The other option is to jump after the Stratios. Now, either he will engage me there and we brawl it out, which is fine, or maybe he actually left. You know, thinking a Vindicator might not be a clever target around the gate. Or he have friends set up already on that side. A gate camp. As I think about this for a few seconds, I decide to jump after. Now the reasoning is that if he has a gate camp, or friends that he has told to come, then the quicker I react, the quicker they have to be ready to fight and nuke me down. When I arrive at the other system, I don't see him anywhere. I approach back to the gate to become visible, just in case if he's cloaked. And there, he uncloaks. Now I know he wants to fight, so I lock him as fast as I can, because I also see that he approaches the gate, and he probably won't fight me this close. So I will have a split second to either shoot or jump after. And notice that he already is damaged, so I prepare to fire. If he stays, he's dead. And one hit later, he was gone. Bad decision for him, but Good decisions on my side. Loot the corpse and keep farming anomalies. Just about 30 minutes later, I get visited by Dominic's. He was way too far off, so I had to warp. I chose the gate again, but this time for a different reason. You see, the anomaly was a large one and I tanked pretty heavy when he arrived. He attacked me when I was fully repping my ship and I had not more than 5% capacity. I was in a really bad state. No cap. But I did get the armor up enough to trick my feeble brain that I'm in a great shape of fighting anything. Now, just as I trick my brain that most of the stuff that I do is better than it really is in my way of, tackling life's big issues. It's like, it just works for me, okay? But anyway, I definitely wanted to gain my cap back. I'm not fitted to fight. As I land, I really hope that he won't follow me. And maybe I can do some gate jumping, just to get the cap up. Replenish my spirits, refill my cup, healing my wounds and rehabilitate a little bit. But the Dominic's arrives. Knowing distance means nothing for a Dominic's. He would hurt me a lot. But he is also close to me. And that's perfect. I also just came out of a fight, so my implants is ready. And so is my brain. Despite the bad cap, I go for it. Expecting him to jump. He does not. He fires back. Knowing that his situation is worsening, his chances of survival is weakening, his hope is fading, I activate my implants cause I know I will not have cap enough to fire for too long. And my cap needs to be allocated to my reppers. His ship is sinking, his hope is fading, and I get some good hits in. And the victory is mine. I was scouted by a bomber. That happened to be 3 bombers. I played around at the gate a bit to see if they wanted to fight. And I saw that they did jump after me. But nothing more. I decided to warp to the sun to see if they followed. And they did. Now this is a dangerous game, but I felt that with the recent actions, I won't survive enough to find a filament to get back home anyway. So the sun was a good idea. They played with dampeners and no matter how I tried, I could not get a lock on them. Well played. They also didn't make any mistakes. Now I tank a lot so they could not nuke me down. I decided to try to lose them and yeah, you're probably laughing right now. Warping around in a battleship to get rid of frigates is not the best. But somehow I managed. Or they understood that I was not gonna go down by their puny damages and just didn't pursue to chase me. Well, they did a couple of jumps. A bit later and a few more sites, I finally found the ticket home. Finding a ticket is all good, but you need to be out of combat for 3 minutes and the jump back takes also 3 minutes and that's 6 minutes that you can be scanned down. Nothing happened and I jumped home. Now I really like this wormhole effect and overall the experience you gain by jumping over without a way to get home. And the time you spend out in Kalevala, the stuff you experience, whether it's PvP or PvE, the feeling that you might be hunted, the feeling of not being sure if you get back home alive or back home with the loot. This might not be the feeling you have if you bring a sheep ship to Kalevala or if you're flying with a group of people only to get a few kills and with no real care for the loss that you might get. But if you take your nice ship and you bring it to Kalevala with a one-way ticket, just to grind the way to that special ticket back home. This experience is something, and you will never know what you meet. But if you gain a few kills, then not only is it a great feeling, but it's also a reason. It's a goal, one you want to succeed in to find the way home safely. If you're thinking about trying your hands on Kalevala, then I have some tips for you right now. Tips that might get you home with your ship. Now the first tip I have, which is not really a tip, but do not talk in local, just keep your mouth shut. This sounds like a given and we have been told, but I just love to type stuff when I know others won't talk back, and it's really not a good idea. Now the second tip is always check your overview. Spin the ship around, take the time to stay safe. Keep an eye on wrecks and if the system has less anomalies, that means people might be around. Another tip I have is that if you can, then bring a ship that is stabbed. I know I'm not much for stabbing ships myself, but in this situation, it's almost vital. And my stabbing is an extra stat on my AI core, so I don't lose anything on having it. But I would argue that over 3 strength is necessary to be able to warp even if the rats are scrambling you. Another tip that I can say is to find the filaments to get home. Farm the small anomalies. I farmed the medium ones for 2 days and I might have been very unlucky, but as soon as I started farming the small ones, I did find one within 2 hours. Now I got this tip by Royal Rebel, who's on my Discord channel too. Thank you so much, sir. You saved me a lot of time. And the last tip that I have is that if you really want to spice this adventure up, then bring a ship you don't want to lose and see if you can get it back in one piece. It is a lot of fun and it will give you the excitement that you maybe never got so far. I hope this was entertaining, and if you could give a like on this video, that would mean a world to me. Stay curious and I see you guys again.